Hello everyone, good evening. Today we are going to see about some Python interview questions. So what is the difference between the list and tuple in Python? The list and tuple are the non-primitive data types in Python. There are two types of data types, that is primitive or non-primitive. In the primitive, we will be getting the string, integer, float, and boolean. Whereas in the non-primitive, we will get list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So this comes under the non-primitive data types. They are able to store the heterogeneous items, that is multiple data types. String, float, integer, boolean, those type of the items you can store inside the list as well as in the tuple. The list will be always storing the items inside the square bracket, whereas the tuples will be storing the items inside the curve bracket. Both the list and tuples can store multiple items, but they have some key differences. What are they? Lists are mutable, which means you can change the item of the list, you can add new element, and you can remove the existing element after the list is created. Tuples are immutable, which means you cannot change them after they are made. Lists are written with the square brackets, whereas tuples are use the parentheses, open and close parentheses. Because of the immutability, tuples are faster and can be used as a keys in the dictionaries. See, the items, the data structures where you may not be in a position to change the items very frequently. Once it is created, you cannot change that item. Those data structures will be more faster than the changeable one. So this tuple has got a property of immutable. That means you cannot change any item in the tuple. You cannot add new item into the tuple. That can be used as a keys in the dictionary. The keys also in the dictionaries got the same property that they are immutable, while list cannot. Use a list when your data might change. Whenever your data is going to change, you should use list. Use a tuple whenever the data should stay the same. In the moment you are creating the tuple, if you are going to assign some data inside the tuple, you cannot change it afterwards. But whereas in the case of the list, it is possible. Both are useful in the different situations. List, I have 10, 20, 30. I can add element to the list. I can remove the element from this list, or I can change the items from the list. Whereas in the tuple, whatever the element I have added here, I cannot add further item into this tuple, or I cannot change the existing element in the tuple. In case, mandatory, if I want to change the element in the tuple, that case what you have to do is create a tuple, convert the tuple into the list. As a list has got the property of the mutable, that is you can change the elements, change the element of the list for particular index, and then convert the list into the tuple again. This is the final way you can change the items in the tuple. But basic property of the tuple, you cannot change the item inside the tuple, whereas in the list you can do the modification, you can add some more elements and you can remove the elements. In the right side, my list is equal to 1, 2, 3. My tuple is equal to 1, 2, 3. That comes first with the square bracket, that is the list, and which comes with the curve bracket, that is the tuple. My list of index 0 is equal to 10. So I am going to change the index 0. In this my list, the index 0, I have the element 1. So this one, I am going to change it as a 10. This is possible with the list. Whereas my tuple of 0 is equal to 10, which will give you the error because it is immutable. So my list of 0, index 0 is 1. I want to change that one as a 10. It is possible because list is immutable, mutable. Whereas in the tuple, the index 0 is having 1, which I want to change it as a 10, which the tuples are immutable, so it is not possible. These are the difference between the list and the tuple. What is the difference between the function and method in Python? Def with the, I'm going to write a function that starts with the keyword def, the function name followed by the parameters a comma b. It is going to return me a plus b. A method, on the other hand, is a function that is associated with the object. Methods are defined inside the classes and are called dot notation. For example, I'm going to have a name, the variable name, and going to pass the value alias. Here, print of name dot upper of. The upper is a method. So this upper is a function, basically is a string function. When it is associated with the object, it is called as a method. In simple terms, all the methods are functions, but not all functions are methods. Method always belongs to an object or class, while the functions do not. For example, the upper and lower, upper open bracket, close bracket, lower upper bracket, close bracket, they are individually as a function. But when I am going to associate this upper and lower with the particular object, here I am creating the variable and passing the value for it. So this is the object. For this, I am going to associate this function upper. Then this is called method. All the functions are not methods and all the methods are not functions. Whenever the function that is getting associated with the object, then only it is called as a method, or else we can directly use the functions wherever it is required. These are the difference between the function and the method in Python. What are arguments and parameters in Python functions? Parameters are the name you define in the function when you write it. When you are going to write a function, that time you are going to give the parameter. Arguments are the actual values you pass to the functions when calling it. So whenever you are going to call that function, whatever the values you are passing for the parameters, they are called as the arguments. For example, def greet of name. In this, name is a parameter. Print hello plus name. This is the function body. I am calling this function greet with the alias value. So, function header, def keyword, function name, parameter. This is the function body. Here I am going to give the print statement. Next, I am going to call this function with the value. So, the name is the parameter and alias is the argument. In this case, name is the parameter and alias is the argument that is passed to the function. Python also supports default argument, keyword argument, and variable length argument. Understanding how parameters and arguments work is important for writing flexible and reusable functions. So whenever you write a function, it should have the def keyword followed by the function name, and within the open and close parentheses, you will be providing the parameter. Then followed by the function body, which will have the print statement or return statement. After that, you will be calling the function with the value. That value will be passed to the parameter. So that value you are passing to the parameter is called argument, and in the function header, what you are giving is called the parameter. So Python also supports default arguments, keyword arguments, and variable length arguments. So these are the different types of the parameters and arguments in functions. But once you are good with understanding how to write a basic function without parameter and with parameter, and how to pass the value for the parameter, then only you will be able to understand the three different types of the arguments: default, keyword, and variable length argument. Actual values you pass to the function when calling it. Def greet of name. Name is the parameter. Hello plus name, alias. So this is the argument you are passing for the name. In this case, name is the parameter, alias is the argument. So understanding how arguments and parameters is important for writing the flexible and reusable functions. What is the use of the return statement in Python? The return statement in Python is used in a function to send a value back to the place where the function was called. It ends the function and passes the result to the caller. So return statement is always going to give the value back to the place where the function is going to call. First time you will be writing the function with the function header with the parameter and the function body followed by the function call. So in the function call, whatever the return statement you are going to provide in the function body, that will be given back to the function call. For example, in this, I am going to add a comma b in the function add. So return of a plus b. Then space result is equal to add of 5 comma 3. So return a plus b space result is equal to add of 5 plus 3. Why I am creating the result and giving calling this function? So if you understand this, I am going to write a function add which is taking two parameters a comma b. So I am going to return the result a plus b. In the function call, I am going to have the variable result because this function body is not having the print statement to print the result. It is having only the return statement. So in the function call, I should have some variable to catch this result so that I can print the result later. So sorry, there is a missing space here. After the return of a plus b, there is a space, or next line, there only this line will come. So I am writing a function which accepts two parameters. I am going to return the sum of a plus b. This return is not going to print the result. So I have to catch this result somewhere in the variable. For that, in the function call, I am creating a result variable. There only I am storing the result. Finally, I am printing the result. In this case, the function add the returns of sum of a and b, which is then stored in the variable result. Whatever the computation I am doing here, that value, the result will be stored in this variable result, and finally I am printing this result. So using the return, makes a function more useful because they provide the output to be used later. Whatever the output they are going to provide, that can be used later. So what is the difference between the break, continue and pass statements in Python? There are three control statements how loops behave. There are three control statements how the loop is going to behave. Break, that stops the loop entirely and exits. That stops the loop entirely and exits. For I in range of 5, if I is equal to 3, break. So this I is going to iterate through the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So whenever the value I is equal to 3 comes, it is going to break the program and come out of that. So the I is equal to 3, it is going to break it. But the previous value 0, 1, 2 is getting printed. So these are the useful for controlling the loops more precisely based on your program needs. So using the break statement, for some particular condition, I want to break the program, terminate the program and come out. But before checking this condition, whatever the iterations happen, for those we will be getting the results. Continue. It is going to skip the current loop cycle and moves to the next one. For example, for I in range of 5, the I is going to take the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I is equal to 3, it is going to continue by skipping the condition I is equal to 3. So it is going to print the rest of the value 0, 1, 2, 4, 5. So it is going to print till 0, 1, 2, 4. Not even 5. It won't print the 5. 0, 1, 2, 4. It will skip the 3. That is the way how the continue is going to work. Pass means it does nothing. It is used as a placeholder where the code is needed later. For I in range of 5, I am not going to write any code. Rather, I am going to give the pass statement. These are useful for controlling the loops more precisely based on your program needs. For example, I want to develop some code, but I don't know the perfect logic for that. So I want to keep that code inside my whole project, but at the same time, I will see to that that code is not giving me any error. To avoid that, I have to give the pass statement inside that code so that the compiler will not give me any error and it will process the rest of the lines in the project. That is why the pass statement is used. So to give simply, break statement is going to check some condition and it will break the program. But before that condition checking, whatever the iterations happened, it is going to print that. Continue. In the continue, whatever the condition you are going to give, it is going to skip that condition and the control will be transferred to the next part of the program so that the rest of the iterations will be printed. The pass statement is an empty statement which is not going to give you any error, which is a placeholder. In future, you can develop the code for that particular part of the project. So what is the list comprehension in Python? List comprehension is a concise way to create the list in Python. Instead of using loops, you can use a single line of the code. It improves readability and performance. Here is a basic example. So I have created the square list, which is inside the square bracket. I want to see the square of the list for each number of the 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to generate the square. So here you are going to write only one line of code. This is the variable where it is going to store the square of the list. So you are creating the list inside the square bracket. Inside this square bracket, you are going to give the expression. I want to get the square of this number, each number in this for loop for the range of 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it is going to generate the squares. So this is the way how we are going to handle the list comprehension. In this case, even, this creates a list of squares. In this, even is the list. Inside the square bracket, I am going to give the expression, it has to find the square of the given range of 10. For each range of the 10 will be taking the value of 0 to 9. So for each x in 0 to 9, it is going to check whether the 0 to 9 divisible by 2 is equal to 0. Whichever the number comes under the divisible of 2 is equal to 0, that will be considered as an even number. So what is the thing you are understanding here? I am going to write a single line of code. In this, inside the square bracket, you are creating the list of the even numbers. The expression is for loop for set of range of numbers. In that, you are going to check the condition. That is the way you are going to create this list of even numbers. List comprehension are useful when you want to transform or filter data quickly. They make your code shorter, cleaner, and easier to understand than using a full for loop. I hope this session was interesting. So in this, the list comprehension, we have some more example. This is a traditional loop. In this, I am going to create an empty list. So I am going to iterate through the range of 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the x will be taking the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and append the square to this empty result. The x is going to iterate through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and it is going to find the square of this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and append to this empty list result. In the list comprehension, how we are going to write it? Inside the square bracket, I am going to find the square for each number in this range and store the result. So these 3 lines of code has come to the single line of the code. That is called the list comprehension. Hope this session was interesting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned to Provoke Trainings for more excited content like this. If you have any queries for this content or if you have any queries for registering the course, please post your queries in the below link. So here I have provided you the full name, mobile number, mail ID, location and which is the course you are opting for. Please submit your query here. Our team will come back to you and reach out your queries. Thank you so much.